Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
A beautiful morning to you, our distinguished viewers across the world. Good to know that you are there. And I want to welcome you very specially to today's edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, where we say it as it is. How was your weekend? Trust you had a good one. Had a very good one as well. And thank God we are back here for the gift of life. We are most grateful to God. Femi is my name, and I welcome you to today's program where we look into very critical matters, topical and trending issues. We start with the papers, and of course, we head straight to the conversation, having opinions and views of critical stakeholders, that has to do with these conversations. And that's what we do here every weekday at this very time. We're on YouTube at Western Spring Television, and of course, on Star Times, channel 190 on the DTT. Good morning, Evelyn.
Good morning, Femi. How do you do today?
How do you do too?
All right. Well. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Morning Spring, the Monday edition. It's the 8th day of the month and of the year 2024.
That's right.
Time waits for no one, just like yesterday when we said Happy New Year's. We've used 1 week out of the year. So whatever it is that you want to do, this is the best time to execute it. Do not wait for anyone. Do not wait for anything. Just ensure you get to work. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Evelyn. Ohiole.
And of course, when you're saying do not wait for anyone, one thing that came to my mind was no grief for anybody.
That's the English version of saying it.
What a weekend this has been. Many things, from politics to governance to lifestyle to how somebody can move from 0 very fastly to 100, or in the case of the most popular person in Nigeria, apart from politicians, that's Debbie on Twitter now.
Yeah.
You could wake up and just having random conversations, and people will pick interest and appreciate your good value, and then it gets appreciated, and then you move from this part of life to that part of life, to the level that even the Debbie herself, possibly wouldn't have thought. In fact, when that thing was going on, you could see at some point she got confused. And these stem from conversations of, family values that she was trying to uphold, to say she would give everything to take care of her family, take care of her husband, wake up at uncomfortable times, so to speak, to make sure she does the needful. Some people came for her to say, you know what, you're not a slave. Why should you wake up at 4:50 or 4:30 a.m. to take care of a man? Don't you have your things to do as well? But some persons came in her defense to say, no, that's what she trusts, and that's her family ethics and value. And then let's appreciate this person for keeping family value. And that was how it started.
Of course, Femi, this actually gives credence to the fact that the world is now a small village. I mean, from the comfort of our room, our voice was heard, and Nigerians heard it, and they swung to action. And that is also to tell you that as Nigerians, as a people, that we are great people. We are indeed great people that watch out for ourselves. I mean, Nigerians are complaining that the economy is so bad, terrible, and all of that. But even in the midst of this scarcity, they were able to pull resources together for this woman. And it also speaks to the fact that there are peculiarities in the home. When you bring your life in social media, a lot of people do not actually know the peculiarity of the situation you're in. You understand? So people just jump into discussions, they jump into conversation without actually getting the background knowledge of what is happening in that person's life. But as we can see that this one actually worked in our favor. She started by being bullied online, but it turned around and actually went in our favor. Also, This is to tell you that Nigerians are anti-bully. Anything that has to do with bullying, they really want to turn around the fate of the victim. And this is why Mohbad's case, till now, is still a case of concern for all Nigerians.
That's very correct. And then, I agree with you 100%. And that it takes a voice, you know, to say no to this, and everybody will too. You know, as they say, it takes good people to look away for evil to thrive. And when somebody say, you know what, we can't continue this way, don't bully this woman. Somebody comes to say, no, okay, another person toes the line, and that was how that thing started, from people giving away diapers, baby needs, to home appliances, and then the big guys came in, the corporate companies, they came in, including Nigerian agency as well, the NNPCL, to say 200,000 voucher worth of product. Although persons have come for NNPCL to say, people say you guys don't get shame, 200,000 naira, you know, from NNPCL.
The funny one is the Nigerian police.
We had
the PRO Olumuyiwa actually. Adejobi also weighed into the conversation, and she was like, rather, what should the police give her? And you could see a whole lot of actually comments under his post as to what Nigeria police can give to her. But it's amazing, really.
Very amazing.
It is indeed amazing. I hope that as a people, we can always come together to also say no to bad governance. It seems when it comes to politics,
with that same energy,
we do not have that same energy to resist whatever.
I think the people feel helpless when it comes to politics. Like, irrespective of what you talk about, these all.
It's just because of
these dinosaurs, possibly.
No, it's just because of political differences, really. That's why they will not come together as one. But then it is what it is. Congratulations to Debbie, also known as Mommy Z. We're definitely going to take that at the spring trend segment. But for now, we look into the national dailies.
And before we go to the national dailies, let me add, if Debbie is watching, that from today, she should know that her life is now public. And people will be consciously monitoring.
I think it depends on what she puts on social media.
Well, you know,
this
people
is the time to actually backtrack.
Very
just
soon
make
you see Twitter
private.
people say she should come and account for all the gifts she has got. You don't know these people. Let's go ahead, please.
All right, we go for this break. And when we come back, it will be time to review the national dailies. And of course, we have a special guest of honor right here in the studios already. We'll unveil him when it's time.
All right, we'll kickstart these today, January 8th. Today is Monday, by the way, January 8, 2024, from the front page of The Guardian. And of course, Ladeji, Ogbeni Ladeji Alabi is here. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Femi.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Evelyn. How are you guys doing today?
All right, The Guardian, conscience nurtured by truth. The front page has this big bold headline: federal government in fiscal dilemma over high inflation, low revenue, FX crisis, page 6. And of course, you have a pictorial representation there of what looked like a chess game, with the dollar being part of what is up on the board, and the naira, you know, there as well represented, with the dollar bullying the naira in that graphical representation. Inflation rate right now is 28.2% on the rise, and budget as signed into law by the president, Bola Tinubu, is 28.7 trillion naira. So where do we go from here? Pope Francis' approval of same-sex blessing, that's an editorial, by the way, and I think most of the representation of the actual intent of this same-sex situation from Pope Francis has been misrepresented, because it doesn't sound like the way it looks. By the way, you could get a detail from the editorial, page 12. Moving on, CBN pays airlines additional $61.64 million stock funds. Panorama, page 2. Excuse me. Towards an inclusive society for people living with disability. There's a news analysis, page 4. And sad one here, 5 dead, 30 others rescued as boat capsizes in River Niger. Sad one. Unfortunately, this is not the first time we are reading. In the last 6 months, I think this will be the 4th or 5th time. Even I, as a person, will be reading this kind of information. And it seems it just goes unabated, boat capsizing. To Oyo State, 3.4 billion naira debt. Oyo AG, fourth mark in this poor city of funds claim. Really? News page 3. And this big one here. Tinubu orders probe of Edu humanitarian ministry over 37 billion naira and 535 million naira funds. News page 3. That's a picture of the man, of the woman rather, in the eye of the stump there. Miss Beta Edu. PDP accuses Kwara senators, reps of diverting federal government's rise. PDP accuses Kwara senators, reps of diverting federal government rise to where? Get a page, get a copy of The Guardian and open to news page 30. Worsening security. Anyoko blames killings on non-prosecution of perpetrators. Right, page 6. Supreme Court affirms states have no regulatory powers on inland waterways. And that will be all from the stories, from the headlines rather, from the front page of The Guardian. And Ladeji, Anyoko blames killings on non-prosecution of perpetrators for the worsening security. You agree?
I agree perfectly with him. Femi, at the time in Nigeria, we say we have repentant Boko Haram members that we try to rejuvenate into the society again. And the question well-meaning Nigerians were asking then is, what becomes the fate of our soldiers that died in the hands of these guys? What will their family think of when they see the killers of their husband being rejuvenated, all in the name of they are repentant? And we've seen cases that the people you claim repented have gone back into their old ways. And I've always been an advocate of, see, no matter what, even as a believer, the Bible says, yes, God will forgive your sin, but at least you still have a touch of, you know, that He's letting you to know, say, I'm your Father, I am your Lord, and I can still reprimand you. Now, but in this case, when people steal money, when people kill, when people, you see, you hear, and they are doing a plea bargain, somebody stole 1 something billion, you say, let him go and get 30 billion, get a shorty, get this, get that, and it goes. Femi, what you are sending, the signal you are sending to other people is, you can also do better. What a man can do, a woman can do better. That's why you see people like Beta Edu every now and then. I know the language news guys want to use is she allegedly. But the memo we saw, memo we saw outside as a CSO person, I'm not a news person, as a CSO person, she's guilty as charged. We saw the account number, and in fact,
only the courts can declare someone guilty as charged.
She is guilty in the court of the people. It is, see, all this grammar we are blowing, it is our money that is going down the drain, and these grammars will not bring them back. And before you know it, yes, we want to do investigation. Before you say Jack Robinson, the question I've always asked, where is the former, the man in charge of the pension fund that was said to be investigated? Where is the man that spent millions of naira on cutting grass? Where are the people that
But in this case, we're talking about insecurity.
I'm just bringing the corruption around it also. Because it's still the same thing. When people go the corruption way, you don't punish them. When you arrest people that are perpetrating evil, and there is no punishment for them, all you need to do is they need to know someone somewhere, and that's the end of the story. What last did you hear about the Kuje jailbreak? Nothing again. We said some people have been rearrested. What have you heard about them?
Yeah.
This will give other criminals power that, see, I can get away with this, and that's just the reality.
All right, that will be all from the front page of The Guardian.
All right, so very swiftly, let us move to the Punch newspaper for today. Better ado, Tinubu vows sanctions as anger grows over 585 million naira scandal. President will take appropriate punitive actions against infractions, says FG. Airlines get $62 million as CBN repays banks $2 billion debt. Quadruplet mom leaves hospital after Tompolo's firm pays 4 million naira bill. And manufacturers may sack workers as Naira loses 39%. Really, the manufacturers are having it tough this time.
That's right.
And of course, it's resumption day. We can see that picture on the Punch newspaper for this morning. The kids are back in school. Good news for the mom, but for the dad, I don't know.
Good news as well.
Good news as well.
Hallelujah,
but
glory.
their credit card, their debit card will definitely feel it because they have lots of bills to pay at this time. And away from that, lawmakers budget fresh 30 billion naira for National Assembly renovation. Army redeploys 206 generals, cancels 120 postings. Momzi, Nigeria's luckiest woman, gifted land for 4:50 a.m. cooking. I actually wake up 3 a.m. if you ask me, but then it is what it is. Let me bring in Ladeji Alabi in at this time, and I'd like you to very quickly look into two stories. First is a story of Better Ado that you started with earlier on. Tinubu vows sanctions as anger grows over 585 million scandal. She said this monies went through due process, but of course we've had the Accountant General speak to the situation. We've also had lawyers, legal practitioners, and senior advocates of Nigeria like Femi and also speak to the issue. And right now, Tinubu has begun a probe of this issue. So thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, my first expectation was she should actually resign while the investigation is on. Yes. That's just last week or there about a minister in Tanzania or Gambia, because he was alleged to have stolen some funds, had to resign. But here in Nigeria, you have someone still sit back until in fact, in Nigeria, we've seen situation where people that were caught on camera and like you news people will say he allegedly collected bribe, went to court to tell the court that he should not be probed by EFCC. That is Nigeria for you. The first thing is for her to resign first.
If she doesn't resign,
how
do you
about
think
stepping aside?
The
Whichever language you want to use, Femi,
her?
she should resign, step aside, step by the way, let the investigation go on. But first, my question is because I saw youth, leaders of tomorrow, going on Twitter to defend her. Oh, it is project account. See, there is nowhere in the world that use private account as project account. A project account cannot carry Evelyn or Ohiole. It should carry the name of the project or a corporate account. But you are and this same woman took money for flying from Abuja to an unknown airport in Kogi State. And you are telling me she's not guilty. She should step aside first, let the investigation. And if the president wants to be sincere, she deserves to be sanctioned.
Sanctioned, but if she doesn't resign, do you think the president should suspend her?
Of course,
pending
yes.
when investigation
is over, she should step aside.
All right, okay, let me take you on. Lawmakers budget fresh 30 billion naira for National Assembly renovation. It seems the National Assembly, you know, is getting a whole lot from this budget.
A whole lot of money to be stolen again, Evelyn.
I didn't put stolen.
I said it myself.
Okay.
A whole lot of money to be stolen again because every now and then we get money to renovate the National Assembly. And what we get from there, go and check the House of Commons in the United Kingdom. It looks like a very small place, but where they bring out policies that help their people. But here we have building where we have, how many are they? 409 or thereabout? Or 406 or thereabout? I can't even remember their numbers. And you have many of them slip off when they are even, maybe the AC there is too much. They should reduce it. Let them feel a little heat. Okay. But every now and then you budget 30-something billion, budget 20-something billion to renovate. Yeah. My question is, what are we renovating there? What are we renovating every year that we budget 30-something billion on a house that Nigerians are not getting so much from? Evelyn, let's stop deceiving ourselves. It's just another money to be squandered and, you know, be spent unnecessarily.
All right, thank you, Ladeji. That will be all for the pan.
To the Nation newspaper, very quickly. Right now, 21 governorship appeals for hearing at Supreme Court this week. Right, and with riders Adebutu versus Abiodun to come up on Thursday. Judgment likely on Kano and Lagos on Friday. Big week, politically speaking. And Tinubu approves 12 billion outstanding payment to Super Eagles. Others, by the way, by the weekend, the flag of Nigeria will be hoisted, among other flags, in Cote d'Ivoire. And all the best to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The last time we won the Nations Cup was in 2013. Maybe 11 years after, we can do something closer, or even actually lifting it. And of course, the picture here has to do with the Lagos State annual Thanksgiving that they do. And of course, the big guys are there as well. Moving on, foreign investors double stakes in Nigerian market. Stock markets records largest turnover in 3 years. States, federal government on coalition costs over shareholding in all firms. NGF, DG, governors always kept in the dark. NGFDG rather, governors always kept in the dark. Top strip, President orders probe of alleged 545 million fraud in Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. EFCC didn't take any document away. My office, says Dangote. And foreign airlines get $61.64 million forex backlog. And Supreme Court waterways belong to federal government. I will pass on these with Deji and let Evelyn to the next one. Evelyn.
All right, we move over to the Nigerian Tribune for this morning. And what we have on Nigerian Tribune, of course, the lady in the eye of the storm, Betteradu Tinubu directs probe as alleged financial scandal rocks Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. PDP demands minister sack to contravene ICPC public service rules, says Falana. And Emefiele banks to face probe over forex deals. Probe to cover 9-year period. The big story is on page 21. And free train ride, passengers lament, NRC speaks. 5 dead, 30 rescued as boat capsizes in Anambra. And more headlines coming through on Nigerian Tribune for this morning. Kogi government to unveil new Ohiole of Abira land out of 70 contestants. Of course, we have the late Ohiole pass last year. Supreme Court grants NIWA exclusive rights to control Nigeria's inland waterways. And PDP governors and WC divided over zoning ahead of Edo governorship primaries. Furore over FG's grains palliative. How senators supplied grains while awaiting funds. FG only gave offer letter to contractors, not money. And PDP G5 will support Tinubu in 2027, Autumn says. Ladeji, I like your take on that very last story. The G5 seems to still be waxing strong. We thought it was just all about the 2023 election. But as it is, the 2027 is in sight. And we had Governor Autumn there giving his support to the president. He actually spoke at the New Year luncheon organized by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, yes, yesterday, or in the weekend, rather. So your take? G5.
Yeah, well, the G5 or whatever, I know whatever they want to do is for their own pocket or for their own relevance in politics. As it were, they all claim to still be PDP members. But PDP as a party, my question has always been, do you guys still think you hold the control of your party? If you are a political party and you have five out of your top guys, because you can't take it away from them, they are their top guys. They were governors, you know, as at the time the election was to go on. And these guys said they were not going to support your candidate. And you ask the question, where is the party supremacy? Even if the candidate your party is bringing to the table is not your own favorite, a responsible person of the party should say, okay, whatever the case may be, let's win this election first, then we come back to settle our problem. But now you guys said, no, we will not, and you did not, and you are saying even we will not.
In 2027?
In 2027, and the party is folding its hand. Why I don't blame the party is because also a lot of people have alleged that PDP is a party of the money bags takes the control. And whoever has the money to share around, you know, other guys fall in place. So I just feel the party get it right, because also in democracy, you need a viable opposition, even though Peter Obi and the Labour Party have said, see, we are going to give the APC a run for their money. We are going to be the major opposition. But also, the PDP, I hope they are not living in the old glory, because they claim to be the largest political party in Africa before now. I hope this G5 will not shake them any longer. But as a matter of, as I conclude now, as a matter of sincerity, if those guys know they are not going to work for the PDP again, at least it is allowed in Nigeria. Move your stuff, go to the APC and enjoy yourself there.
The party can also expel. If actually they are serious.
The question is, people have asked PDP, is it that these guys have your nude somewhere that you cannot?
Why did it have to be nude? No. But
contextually speaking.
We had the APC chieftain, one of the APC chieftains yesterday, during the weekend at that luncheon, told Wike that they are praying really to have him in the APC. They are really praying, fasting and praying for him to come over to APC.
I hope what they are praying for, because you know, I've always said it on, I'm not a fan of Wike. Wike is a man that speaks for both sides of this mouth.
Average Nigerian politician.
No. This Wike is, maybe because he's too lousy of it, man.
You hear him more.
You hear him more. And the man you are praying to have in your party, I hope he won't come and rock the boat there too.
All right. And by the way, that event happened where again?
It happened in some states.
At a luncheon?
Yeah.
Yes, luncheon.
All right. you get my memo already. All right, quickly, just a couple of headlines and then we move. On the Vanguard, Naira notes scarcity. Vanguard. Naira notes scarcity. Crunch worsens. Banks ration cash across the counter. Customers frustrated as some banks short ATMs. POS operators jack up charges. Say they are sourcing cash outside banks. And NNPCL and Port Harcourt Refinery, the unfolding success story of rehabilitation by Femi. Humanitarian Ministry, the probe is on. Tackle increasing cases of killings. Ayoko task federal government. That's a highly referred former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Emeka Ayoko. UI, Unilorin Covenant Varsity say no fake professors on payroll. Really? AFCC's visit, Dangote explains, assures stakeholders. Supreme Court grants federal government exclusive control of all inland waterways. And NFF to Super Eagles win AFCON and pocket 32 million naira bonus each. And Mr. and Mrs., come and sit on my lap. That's Mr. That's what you say whenever you annoy me. This time you must pay some compensation before I sit. That's for Mrs. And compensation, oh, you mean sitting allowance. Interesting one there. Ladeji, as we coast home here, sports. NFF to Super Eagles win AFCON and pocket 32 million naira bonus each. Your take on that?
Huge promises again.
Incentive, yeah.
Incentives again.
Bonus.
Here and there. Well, for most of these guys, they are big guys. The 2 million naira is nothing to them. I can say that. But I feel we need to realize at this stage that money really is not doing the job for us again. We need to put in place the things that they are meant to do. Yeah. If you have been owing the guys backlogs of allowances before now and you are just telling them, see, it's just like, don't worry, I'll pay you that one, just go and when they have come. No, you don't use mouth to push people. Show them the attitude. At times, it's not about the money, it's about, you know, your body language towards them, the way you take care of them. When they get injured while playing for you, how do you cater, how do you show care for them? But now it is when you have the African, you tell them 32 million naira. To someone like Victor Osimhen, the current African Footballer of the Year, how much is that 2 million naira to what he earns at Napoli in a week?
It's something.
Or you will be.
Evelyn, it is nothing to these guys. They can pay the salary of everybody in NFF. That's the reality. What they earn in a week, than pay the salary of everybody in NFF. So they are not small boys. They are billionaires. You don't use 32 million naira to tell them go and win AFCON. What I'm trying to say is money is not what you use in it, but motivate them while they were there. Even the allowances you promised them, even if it is $1,000 that you promised them the last AFCON, that you are owing them, the money you are owing the coach, have you paid? You are promising them to go and win the AFCON.
They should see the support.
Support them right from
not just
because you want them to win AFCON.
By the
And
way,
it is because CAF has increased the money for winning AFCON. And you know it is sad that any federal government sports whatever that goes to any tournament and win, even the sports minister cannot question them on how they spend the money. It is that bad. So when they win the millions of dollars...
The AFCON is starting at the weekend.
Yeah.
How do you see the Eagles doing?
Well, in fairness, I'm a Nigerian. As a matter of fact, my jersey is at home. Planning to get the new solid jersey. I'm a fan of the Super Eagles every now and then, but the reality is, I don't see us winning this AFCON. If we cannot beat Lesotho, we cannot beat Sierra Leone, we struggle against Liberia, all these small teams that in the days of when Nigeria was Nigeria, Nigeria want to play Lesotho, you can say, no, the scores will be 4-0. But now
Nigeria is still Nigeria. You're talking about when Eagles were Eagles.
I don't know. Nigeria is not Nigeria again.
Nigeria is still Nigeria. And I stand on my point.
Femi, at the time,
thank you, Ladi.
We played South Africa 5 times, we beat them. These days, we want to play South Africa, you have to go on the mountain.
Of course,
So
every team is improving, by the way.
We should improve
but not
more.
like we shouldn't
improve more. We should improve more.
All the best to the guys, as the Eagles soar in Cote d'Ivoire. We hope they will do well. We'll be here to root for them. And if you guys don't do the needful, the guys are waiting in Lagos to let you know how they feel as well. Thank you, Ladi Jala.
It's always a pleasure. Today.
And of course, this is where we pause for a bit. We'll go on this break. When we come back, the conversation will start right now. It's about doing things rightly. It's about governance in Nigeria. And it's about interrogating processes and the way things are done and holding people accountable for what is right. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back. All right, you're welcome back. We start with the conversation now, and it's about the revelations being made public, especially with the investigator from the federal government, by the way, Mr. Obaze, who was contacted to probe, some key federal government agencies, starting with the CBN. Well, and the NNPC too is part of the probe, by the way. But then, same with the CBN for now. Mr. Obaze, in a report that has been made public, by the way, has been said, he has said, by the way, that some of these things that happened under the former governor, Emefiele, didn't really follow the right process. Talking about especially these allegations, by the way, because it's a report, and that Mr. Emefiele had under him the opening of several accounts running into, hundreds of accounts that were not done rightly, having proxies, take over banks. In fact, some of the banks have been mentioned, and some of the people involved have been invited to speak on the matter. And then moving on, the forex situation in Nigeria, we know what it is, a naira to a dollar right now. And it was alleged that under Emefiele, there was some kind of misappropriation or shady dealings. I think that's right to say. That's the better word now. Shady dealings in terms of forex and people that have access to forex. And so we'd like to look into that. And last week, the EFCC raided the office of Dangote their headquarters in Ikoyi, and it is not unconnected. It is not unconnected with the forex situation, and document to see that if the Dangote group of companies had dealings with Emefiele, with the CBN, at that time, and if actually those things went the right way. And this is what we'll be looking at today, because it was reported widely on newspapers that Emefiele, was facing fresh charges as Dangote. They've come out to deny any wrongdoings. A statement released by their corporate person said, no, everything that was done the right way. And this EFCC, there is the Jim Obaze report on his side, and the EFCC raiding. In fact, the EFCC said their raid wasn't connected with the Obaze report or the Obaze investigation. They are doing their own thing by themselves. And that is, said that the EFCC has written to over 85 entities comprising corporate organizations and individuals over an ongoing investigation into alleged fraudulent foreign exchange allocations under the embattled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And we learned that the anti-graft agency has also summoned senior officials of the affected entities and mandated them to provide detailed documents of their foreign exchange transactions. And that is why this morning, to give us perspective into what we are talking about, we are being joined this morning by Mr. Jose Asheda. And of course, Mr. Asheda is a strategy and investment expert and managing partners at Asdas Partners Consulting right here on the island in Lagos State. Mr. Asheda, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much. You listened to me, and of course,
yes,
the Obaze report, the reason behind it, the investigation into what happened at the CBN, especially during the former governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, that has now spread his tentacles to how the Dangote company is involved. And last week, AFCC raided the Dangote headquarters. What do you think is happening, and what do you make of this development?
Well, I think to start first, in the first place is to show we have to comment the fact that the Tinubu administration is going after some corrupt practices that has happened in the recent past. At first, you might want to look at it from the point of view that Emefeile is a perceived opponent or perceived detractor to the ambition of President Tinubu while he was aspiring to be president of the country. Be that as may, we are happy that we should be excited that the administration is going after some corruption, whether it is the corrupt practices of his enemy or not. It is something to be commended. That should be said. Now we have always known that there are shady deals around the former governor of the CBN, Emefiele. We just couldn't put our fingers on those things because we do not have the details, the information to be able to make concrete allegations.
When we say when you say we, how do you mean?
When I say we, I mean people that are in the industry, in the finance industry. We know things are not just right. You understand? Especially when you think about the forex that were made available to Dangote at the expense of others. We did not actually know the details of the exchange rate that was used, but we know that there were tranches of funds that were channeled to Dangote refinery and maybe his other companies. You see $20 billion, one here, that one there. So at the time that there was scarcity forex in the general market for the general public. So you know that definitely something is not going the way it should be.
But forex being made available to Dangote company or group of companies, the former governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, said officially, especially at the launch of the Dangote petrochemical refineries, he said it that officially the CBN supported the Dangote company to make that dream a reality officially, and that the man has started paying back. I think he said 70% or 80% of what he was supported with has been paid back, to say, you know what, we didn't do this under dealings, it was made public. But the question is, was it done the right way?
Yes, that's actually the question that we're raising. We understand the urgency or the reasons behind giving Dangote preference. The preferential treatment that should be given to Dangote could be in terms of volume, but not in terms of rate. And if you're going to do that, it has to be something that must be transparent, something that other users, other players in the industry or in the Nigerian industrial space could have access to, as a result of the things that they want to do. So basically that's where the issues are.
All right.
So when you begin to do things that are below the lines, of normal processes, then you're going to be running into problems the way Emefiele is running into problems right now.
All right.
All right, Mr. Ashida, well heard this morning. Now, still on the Dangote issue, you have said that, all right, there might have been approval for the old Dangote getting the rate and all, but it might not have gotten through the right process. I'd like to ask, do you see this actually being a negative or creating a negative impact on the Dangote brand, especially with what he has coming on board? I mean, that he has already on board the Dangote refinery. Do you see it having a negative impact on the Dangote brand? We know it's still in it's still under investigation, but then I'd just like to know, is there going to be do you see it having a negative impact on the Dangote brand?
Yeah, the last time we talked about Dangote refinery, we mentioned the fact that there are a lot of politics around Dangote refineries, and that we wish that the politics will put aside, so that the refinery can come online and begin to produce. Nigeria economy needs that. That said, now, but with these problems of alleged fraudulent conduct or below process conducts around forex and finance, I would say something towards that. I don't know that. I'm not sure how much funding is required by Dangote Refinery and the Dangote Group to continue to function, or to get the refinery online. Now, if there's a need for more funding, and if the government is able to put aside its political interests or intrigues to be able to get those the refineries online, then I can tell you that there will be likely people that will want to put in funds to be able to assist the group, and especially the refinery, to start functioning and come online. Because you have to be very clear about this thing. The refinery is good for it in terms of being able to pay back and provide the adequate interest and profit for financiers. So I don't see this problem causing financial shortages or financial problems if and only if there is a political will on the part of the government to get the Dangote refinery, online. Now that said, but the question now is there a political will to get the refineries to get the refinery working? And I can tell you that if you have EFCC putting their noses and snooping around the Dangote deals, and then they are pulling Dangote in this direction and that direction, I can tell you that the political will may really not be there. You understand? For me, I'm thinking that the pressure that is on on Dangote and his group is as a result of the fact that there is a switch in political preference for his business. So, and I'm thinking the political people are bringing out these reports or are letting out these reports and then allowing the EFCC to be snooping around and be poking their hands into the deals of Dangote. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do, but however, I believe that they are doing that to justify or to back or to use that as a means for grounding the the refinery because they do no longer favor it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the problem with finance for the group will be because the group may have lost political support.
All right. According to the Punch newspaper, a top official, according to them, an acclaimed top official of the EFCC told them and revealed that the agency was probing the preferential foreign exchange allocations allegedly made by Emefiele in defiance of extant financial rules and regulations of the CBN Act. It went further to say the FCC is investigating 5 entities. The probe has extended beyond 52 entities, and I can confirm that's according to the top source from the EFCC, according to Punch, that the Dangote Group and BUA PLC are part of the 85 entities under probe over the preferential foreign exchange allocations made by this former CBN governor Emefiele in defiance of the CBN Act, and some officials of those companies and individuals connected with the allocations have been invited by the Commission for questioning, and all the affected entities have been asked to provide their financial documents from 2014 to 2023. We discovered that those allocations were not approved by the former President Buhari, so it was more of a means for the former CBN governor and his cronies to launder money through forex transactions and bureau de change operators. But it should be noted that our investigation is comprehensive, it is deeper and encompassing and absolutely independent of the Obaza report. This is according to the Punch, and this is attributed to a top official of that particular EFCC. So what do you make of these allegations that, they were using this to just do underhand dealings and shady dealings, and that allegedly the former CBN governor and his cronies laundered money through forex transaction and bureau de change operators? Do you think this is the position, or this is just witch hunting? As you spoke about the political undertone to it, maybe Emefiele had, ambition, in which he even got from, in which he said some people got it on his behalf. We saw vehicles that were branded Emefiele at the time. Do you think this top official was saying what is the reality, or is just a vendetta, a vengeance, just to nail the man?
You know something, we have to be very clear about these things in Nigeria, and you can also find this in other places too, including what we call the Sena crimes. Yeah. Okay. When you have your opponent or people that you don't like, you can always dig up things around them to prosecute them. But in your mind, you are persecuting them for whatever they may have done to you. So we have that. We have Trump already suffering from that kind of thing in the U.S. Ordinarily, some of the allegations may have not been treated. I'm talking about Trump, but because of his political stand and that his opponents are on the other side and they are in power, so they are using government, apparatus to yes, in quote, witch hunt him. Now, but the question you ask yourself, in this case, was Emefiele right? Are those allegations correct or not? So the question is that those allegations are weighty, and these are things that we know are happening in that space, but have no proof. You understand? We have been saying this, including President Tinubu. While he was campaigning, he mentioned the fact that that there were shady deals in the forex regime. So this is not new. We have had the cases of people who have been giving documents to the fact that they can access or they are producing documents that have been signed under Abacha's regime with the rate that they are using at that time, maybe 25 naira to 24 naira to $1, and they are using that to bring up to collect dollar under the last administration. So we have these allegations that have been flying around. So the question that arises is the fact that why is it that the government was not investigating and try to find out what is going on in order to be able to correct it. You remember that we've talked about the exchange rates, again, the parallel market. One of the problems with the parallel market is exactly that. The bureau change are able to get funds at a cheaper rate, and then come to the market to be able to sell at the parallel market rate.
All right.
And so you have funds funneling from the official channels into the parallel market. These are the allegations that are on ground. But you know that these things are not possible without the participation, active participation and support and facilitation by people who are at the top who are the top or top positions in CBN. Right. Including the CBN governor, So what is happening right now is the EFCC doing its job by bringing out those allegations, because I'm telling you, those allegations are very weighty. You understand? So and the allegations can lead to Emefeile being in jail if he's found guilty, and all his cronies and other people that are working with him for many years.
All right.
All right. Well, Mr. Shada, we are pressed for time, but I'd just like to ask you this question before you go. In the Jimo Baz's report, the report kind of excused the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, from any form of the allegation made against Emefiele. Said that Emefiele did it with the cabals in Aso Rock. And of course, we've had groups calling on the federal government to uncover those big masquerades Emefiele worked with. But then, Nigerians sort of have this confusion as to how Mr. former president can be excused from these allegations. When I'm talking about the printing of the new currency and the changing of old currency to the new one at the time. Your thoughts very quickly.
Now, quickly, there have been allegations that even me have made and other people have made, that President Buhari was an absentee president. A lot of it has to do with because of his age and his health conditions, which the people around him took advantage of, you know, in a very bad manner. Now, does that excuse him from all the wrongs that were done under his watch? That is, if he was watching. The truth of the matter is that it's not excusable. But the only thing you can say is that, okay, he was not aware. But he should be aware.
So, Mr. Sheda, so quickly, let me butt in here so that you take it together. You're saying maybe because of his age and his health condition, you've forgotten that Mr. Buhari, while he was there, even made a live television broadcast, you know, confirming and endorsing these things and explaining it. So many persons will say he was aware.
And flagrantly disobeyed the court orders at the time.
He spoke on these things.
Yes. You know what I mean is that I'm not talking about just the naira swap or new printing of naira or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously he was aware. He approved it. But there, for example, now we have some of these deals, of this forex deal that he didn't sign, he did not endorse, that as EFCC has alleged. Now, that's what I meant. So, but if you put all together, what I'm also saying that even though he was not aware for those deals, or the ones that they said he was not aware, should he be excused? I think not, because he's supposed to be aware.
All right.
It's his watch, and he was supposed to be watching. So that said, so he should take responsibility for those things, or at least help this current government and the EFCC to prosecute, right, to find those those people that have taken an undue advantage of his disposition while he was at the helm of affairs in Nigeria.
Of affairs, right? To know if you can do this one for us in 30 seconds. The G-Mobaza report, I mean the investigation going on, and we've seen some of the reports, especially in the public space. The AFCC investigation about the forex, on that shady deals that happened, that has spread its tentacle to the Dangote company right now and other companies. Do you see it going through? Or it's just one of those things that, hope will be raised and at the end of the day we won't see anything? In 30 seconds.
Well, I think, I have that misgiving as well, that will he actually come to conclusion, in which case we'll be able to find some people being held accountable and punished under the law, for the wrongs that they have done. I'm not so sure. Yep, and the reason for that is because, number one, you have that refinery has government interest in it that is at least 20%. And then you know for a fact that Nigeria needs that refinery. So what is going to happen? Now, I don't know whether this government has the strength, the power to go all the way. What they could do if they want to go all the way is to seize that refinery and nationalize it, because of those fraudulent practices.
Right.
Does this government have the power, the willingness to do that? It has been done in other places around the world. So if they want to go in that direction, it can be done.
All right.
And that will see to the end. That which refers to the interests of the refinery for Nigeria. And then, of course, when you begin to pull these strings of these fraudulent acts, the chances are that it will lead to very top people that the government may not want to pull down.
All right.
Okay.
One of those would be the former president, because it happened under his watch, whether he's aware of it or not.
All
But
right,
of
Mr.
course,
Ashada.
the swap deal is signed up. Is signed off on that one. So
Thank you so much, Mr. Yose Ashada. He's a strategy and investment expert and managing partner at Asda's Partners Consulting, Lekki, Lagos. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, that's the first leg of the conversation. We go for a break now. When we return, we are going to be looking at the legal perspective this morning, and we will be speaking to Adeyemi Adeboye. Do not go anywhere. Morning Spring, we'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the conversation on Morning Spring this morning, and we have been taking a look at Jim Obaza's report on former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele and the fresh forex scandal. At this point, we will be taking a legal perspective and, letting us know what he thinks from the legal angle. Joining us this morning is Mr. Adeyemi Adeboye. He is he's a legal consultant and managing partner at Ocean Honors Attorneys. Good morning to you, Mr. Adeboye. Are you there with us? Mr. Adeboye, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm with you.
Good morning. All right, very quickly, allow me to start from this angle. We have seen lots of probes by this President Bola Tinubu. Do you consider this couple of probes, investigations, the recent probes of the Godwin Emefiele, the former CBN governor? We've also had the NSIPA boss, Lima Shehu, and recently is that of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Better Edu, come up. Do you consider this strong commitment by President Bola Tinubu to actually fight the war against corruption? Let me just start on that note before we go deeper.
Okay, your assertion is correct that President Bola Tinubu set up an investigating panel to look into the activities of the SYCBN the person of Godwin Emefiele. And the panel was headed by a man called Jim Obazi, former head of the Nigerian Financial Reporting Council. And he came up with a report. A report has been a subject of discussion in the media today.
Did you hear my question, Mr. Adeboye?
I think we're having some issues with our connection. We'll try and reconnect, by the way, so that we have a smooth conversation. Obviously, that connection is a bit bad. It's about having legal perspective to the anti-corruption drive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Jim Obaze was contacted to investigate some agencies of the government, and he has started with the CBN. We've learned of some reports and some very damning revelations that has to do with the times of Godwin Emefiele as the CBN governor. By the way, more than 500 accounts being operated, outside the shores of the country, and these were not done rightly. Barrister Adeboye, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. My colleague, we re-ask that question.
So can you hear me clearly? I hope you can hear me clearly now, Mr. Adeboye.
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's not so that clear. But I'm actually, straining my ears to listen to what you're saying.
Okay, I have some issues with my voice, but I'll do better this time. Can you? I'm asking if you think the probes, investigations by President Bola Tinubu, we've heard there's CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, I beg your pardon. We have the NSIPA boss Ali Shehu and now Better Edu, all under probes of allegations of fraud and corruption. Do you see this as a commitment by the president to actually fight corruption?
Hello?
I'm sure that. Can you hear me?
If you can
hear
help me out, please.
President Adeboye, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, now maybe I should ask that question. This anti-corruption drive of the president that has contacted Jim Obaze to probe some agencies of the government, including the CBN, especially under Godwin Emefiele. What we are seeing with the former NSIPA boss, Alima Shehu, under investigation. Now, Better Edu under investigation as well. And the president has gone to say all these people should be investigated. Does it give credence to the anti-corruption drive of the president to say he's really serious about fighting corruption?
Yeah, it's one of the ways to stem the tide of corruption in Nigeria. Because according to the report, we find out that Emefiele perpetrated a lot of fraud by opening diverse accounts in China, in US, in the UK. And he also mismanaged the Ways and Means Fund, through which they helped the federal government in a budget shortfall. And he also used the proceeds to buy some banks, including Providence Bank, Titans Bank, even without paying a dime. So we could actually conclude that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is targeted at minimizing corruption in Nigeria.
Is it just minimizing corruption or fighting corruption?
Yeah, fighting corruption, so to speak.
All right, good to know. And legally speaking, these reports, you know, as far as our constitution is concerned, is only the court of law, a competent court of law, that can pronounce somebody guilty. How does it come to you as a legal practitioner that some of these persons that have been mentioned, against their name are these heavyweights of corruption? But you know, whenever somebody's name is mentioned, especially in the Nigerian climb, we just see it as this person has done it. How much of a damage do you think this is to them as far as the human rights is concerned? You know, now that the case has, some of it has not even got into court, but many persons are flying with the story that these guys have committed the crime. As a legal practitioner, is this right?
Hello, I didn't hear the last question.
I'm afraid this connection is a bit bad, but we want to sincerely thank you, by the way, Mr. Adeboye, legal practitioner, for joining us. The connection is a bit bad, so we might have to just discontinue this conversation. We'd like to have you on better days when the lines will be very through. Mr. Adeboye is a legal consultant, and thank you for joining us today as well. Thank you for your time. If you can hear me, by the way, technology can be very funny at times.
We hope to get it
because we
better
just
at this
spoke with
time.
Mr. Shedan, it was crystal clear, but you know, these are things sometimes that are beyond what we control as well. Thank you for being part of the program today. You know, the conversation and why we do this every weekday is for us to have a better and a working society, by an extension, a working and a better Nigeria, a nation that we are all proud of. And, you know, informing you properly is part of why we're doing this, and having critical stakeholders look into these issues as to have balanced opinions and views of these issues. That's what we do here at this time. I would like to thank you for being part of the program, the first one for this week. Femi Ojo is my name. We make a return, God willing, but don't go nowhere.
Of course, do not go anywhere, because we will be right back just after this. For Spring Trends, we'll bring you what's trending on social media. My name is Evelyn Ohiole. Like I said, do not go anywhere. Stay back. and you will enjoy spring trends.